Hi everyone. I just wanted to take a few minutes to go over a few of the homework problems from last night. I don't have time to go over all of them, but I do want to go over a few of them just to make sure you understand how to do these types of problems. So I just wanted to lay out a couple of them for you. I did send you the solutions to all of the homework problems worked out. So you do have that to check over, but I also wanted to do this video so you could sort of see step by step how we went through them. So I'm going to start with problem number one. And problem number one was this, and it said to simplify, and it gave you x squared plus 3x plus 2 over x squared minus 3x minus 4. And we said that you want to fight the urge to cancel, and the first thing you want to do is factor. So I'm going to factor my numerator and I'm going to factor my denominator. When I factor my numerator, I end up with x plus 2 times x plus 1. Remember, I need two numbers that add to 3 and multiply to 2. In the bottom then, I end up with x minus 4 times x plus 1. Okay, now from here, remember, we cancel our common factors. Bam, bam, I can get rid of those. And what I'm left with is x plus 2 over x minus 4. And now remember I said yesterday that we have to make sure that we exclude the values that make the denominator 0. But I want to make sure we understand that yes, 4 makes the denominator 0 here, but also -1 makes the denominator 0 as well. Before we canceled, you have to include that also. Okay, so make sure you include both of those and exclude everything that could have made the denominator 0 before you started canceling stuff. Okay, the next one I want to go through is problem number 3, because this is a little bit of a different type of factoring. So I just want to review it with you. We've got x squared minus x cubed over 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Okay, again, we're going to factor. In our numerator, we're going to factor using GCF. We always check for a GCF when we factor. In our numerator, we have that. So we take out our x squared, and we're left with 1 minus x. Okay, so I have 1 minus x. In the denominator then, and there's different tricks and tools to factoring when you have a leading coefficient or a number in front of x squared that's different than 1. I've always found that all those little tricks and things just are hard to remember, and then you remember part of it and you don't remember the whole thing, and then you don't really know how to go about doing it. So this is what I always tell people. When you're trying to factor something like this, start with the first term, 2x squared. With this, there's only one way to break that up, 2x and x, right? The only factors of 2 are 2 and 1. So I have 2x and x, so I know that that is true. Then look at your last term. So start with the first term and then go right to your last term. My term here is 3. It's plus 3. So either I have plus 3 and plus 1 or -3 and -1. Your best bet is to probably just try them and see what it gets you. If I do this, remember when you're FOILing, you multiply your outside terms times your inside terms. Right now, I know that my first two terms yield 2x squared. My last two terms, when I multiply them together, gets me the 3. Now what I'm worried about is this term right here. How do I get -5 in the middle? And that's where you multiply your inside terms and you multiply your outside terms and see if it gives you that middle term. When I multiply my outside terms, I get 6x. My inside terms, I get 1x. Add those, that gives me 7x. So that can't be right. Okay, how about if I try changing the sign, because I know that that they can both be positive or they can both be negative. So let's try that. So if I do negative, that gives me negative 6 minus 1, that gives me negative 7. So that still isn't right, which means that I'm going to have to switch my numbers around. This is what I mean by trial and error, folks. Try some different things and see what gets you what you need. If I multiply my outside terms now, I have negative 2x. Multiply my inside terms, I have negative 3x. When I add those together, that gives me that negative 5x. So I'm good. Okay, so I factored that. Now, I can cancel, but look at the difference here. This is 1 minus x, and this is x minus 1. When you cancel things that reverse from each other, then they have to cancel to negative 1. They equal negative 1 when they cancel. Because think about this. If I have 5 minus 2 over 2 minus 5, right? If I do that, that would give me 3 on the top, and that would give me negative 3 on the bottom. 3 divided by negative 3 is negative 1. Okay, so when you cancel factors that are opposite of each other and there's a subtraction sign between them, they cancel to negative 1. Okay, so that leaves you with negative x squared in the numerator and 2x minus 3 in the denominator. And then make sure that you exclude anything that makes your original denominator 0. So x can't be 1 and x can't be 3 halves. When you set 2x minus 3 equal to 0 and solve that, you get 2x is equal to 3 and x is equal to 3 halves. Okay, so that's where those exclusions come from. Okay, number 7 and 8 are just multiplication. You factor and you cancel. 9 and 10 were just division, so you switch it to multiplication, flip the second fraction, factor and cancel. I am going to just go over number 9 real quick because I just want to show you this. In number 9, you had 5x to the 6th over x squared times y divided by 10x squared over y. So remember, when we do this, we switch it to multiplication. So the first fraction stays as is. Switch this to multiplication and then flip that second fraction. So this is now y over 10x squared. Okay, so now remember, we can cancel diagonally or up and down, but we can't cancel things that are next to each other. But I have x to the 6th over x squared. So this becomes x to the 4th, right? Just subtract those exponents. Over here I have x squared, up here I have x to the 4th. So that cancels, and now I'm left with x squared up here, right? If I subtract the 4 and the 2, that gives me x squared. And then make sure you reduce your 5 and your 10. So you want to cancel anything that you can cancel diagonally or up and down. So over here in the numerator, all that I'm left with is 1x squared. So I just have x squared. And in my denominator, all I'm left with is 2. Remember, you have to be careful about doing, when you're canceling, make sure that you end up with the x's where they're supposed to be. I had more x's to start in my numerator, which is why x is still showing up in my numerator. Okay? In problem number 11, I do want to just go over that one real quick. In number 11, you had x squared plus x minus 12 over x minus 3 was equal to 15. Okay, here you can factor, I'll do it over here, you can factor your numerator. You have x plus 4 times x minus 3 over x minus 3 is 15. Your x minus 3's cancel, so you're left with x plus 4 is 15. So x is equal to 11. Okay, so that's all you had to do for that. Number 12, you had to factor and cancel. I'll just show you this real quick. Actually, let me do this on a new screen here. In number 12, you had 2x squared plus 8x minus 10 over 2x squared plus 14x plus 20. And all of that was equal to 4. So you're going to want to factor your numerator and factor your denominator. I want to take out my GCF first. So I have a GCF of 2. That leaves me with x squared plus 4x minus 5. In the denominator, I also have a GCF of 2. And that leaves me with x squared plus 7x plus 10 equals 4. So right now I can cancel those 2's. Now I'm going to factor. I have x plus 5 times x minus 1 over x plus 5 times x plus 2 is equal to 4. My x plus 5's cancel. So now I'm left with x minus 1 over x plus 2 equals 4. From here, I would multiply both sides by x plus 2. If you multiply this by x plus 2, whatever you do to one side of your equation, you have to do to the other. I have an x plus 2 in the numerator and an x plus 2 in the denominator, so those cancel. Now I'm left with x minus 1 is equal to 4 times x plus 2. That's a very easy problem to solve. You just have to distribute and then solve. You end up with 3x is equal to negative 9. So x comes out to be negative 3. So those are just some of the problems from the homework that I wanted to go over with you. Again, all of the solutions have been sent to you, so you can look all of those over. There will be some of these problems on your upcoming quiz similar to this, so I just want to make sure I went over it. Let me know if you have any questions, folks. Thanks.